If you don't recognize me as a Hindu for what I am as a Hindu, then we are going to have problems. We are majorities in the northern and eastern provinces from 2000 years here. We were brought together in 1833 by the British. We have no problems with the Buddhists, nor against the Sinhalese. Our party thought, well, he has now started a new party for himself. I am not interested in starting parties. It took 6 months for them to push me into this. I am still in the same position. I don't want this thing. It doesn't make any difference to me. This is quite enough. Being a chief minister of a province is a great thing, but I'm not after any such positions.
Vigneswaran, welcome to our interview on Chief Minister. To start off with the recent clash that happened in Jaffna University has created a lot of discourse and debate among both polities, the Sinhalese polity and the Tamil polity. What, as the Chief Minister, are your views on this issue?
Well, firstly, it's very unfortunate that we have given too much of political importance to a matter which has taken place among the students. You must realize that just about a few months ago, or some time ago, there were two groups of Sinhalese students who had been having problems. Because there is one set of people among the students who are trying to bring about a bit of a so-called nationalist attitude towards various things, and in order to have a more parochial get-together. And since some of the other students were against it, there were some problems between the two groups of Sinhalese students some time ago. So there is definitely a group which is all out to reflect a form of, what shall I call, anti-Tamil attitude among the Sinhalese students. They would prefer them to sort of have clashes with the Tamils and others to a great extent, so that you can tell the world, oh, the Tamils are this, Tamils are that, they are all tigers, this is what they are trying to do, and this is in order to get political mileage, certain things are happening. Now this is, I'm talking about what happened some time ago. As far as this is concerned, it has been agreed upon the previous day that there is no problem in Kandyan dancing being brought in, but let it be one of the items on the stage. But hitherto what has been done in ushering in the visitors up to the stage, let it be the way it has been done so far, which is the Tamil Nadaswaram and what is culturally done in these areas. But somebody had decided to bring in the Kandyan dancers in between that, and there had been some problems. Then they could not solve that. They had asked the president of the entire University Students' Union, that's Sasidharan, and Sasidharan had been brought in and he had been assaulted. Poor fellow, I don't think he had anything to do with this. He has come there in order to sort of bring about some settlement. Now I also find, this is my information, that as soon as Sasidharan was taken to courts and all that, they have opened up a new Facebook in his name. Now, Sasidharan has, I don't know whether it's Sisidharan or Sasidharan. Sisidharan. Sisidharan has his own Facebook for a long time. A new Facebook has been opened up in his name by somebody, and all this Prabhakaran and various things, LTT literature and various things had been put into that. So the idea seems to be to show that tigers are still active, and this is being done in order to drive out the Sinhalese students, which is not true. That is why when we gave our report, our message recently, myself and Mr. Thavaraja, leader of the opposition, we said that this is not to be looked at from the point of view of individuals who have done something wrong. You have to see the entirety of it. We have the problem of the not solving the political problem. It is being dragged on, war crimes not looked into. Lot of children are being brought from the south into the northern universities. You see, sometimes it's about 60% Sinhalese students are in these universities. So there are so many other matters which we have been discussing and referring to. So all these matters must be taken into consideration, and a full-fledged solution to this must be brought in. That is one aspect of it. There is another aspect to it. If suppose you go to any one of the other universities in the south, if we go there and suppose say we must have Nadaswaram music when you are ushering in, you think the students there are going to allow you? I mean, you don't do that type of thing. So here you are trying to force yourself to come in because you have the power of the army behind you. Army has been here for a long time, they are continuing to be there, and there is connection between the army and the Sinhalese students. Food is being prepared and given by the army to these people, to these children. I am told even some of those people are still in the pay of and they are informants and people from the army who are there. So this connection between the army and some of the students is not good at all for the university administration and for the way things are moving. So we have got to, that is why we said a full-fledged, complete inquiry into all aspects. We may have to call upon all these people. Why are you giving food to these people? If you can't, then why don't you make some arrangements for food to be given by bringing in a caterer from outside, even from Colombo, and having it done? Why should you have this food being given by the army to you people? So what is the connection between the students and the army? So these are all matters to be gone into. So my point is, I think at the moment the university has come to a decision to start the work, and it seems to be going on all right. But the underlying causes need to be looked into. This is not something just on the surface, certain things. There are various groups of people who are having ulterior motives in order to bring about problems here, in order to show the world tigers are still living, tigers are still active, therefore we must continue to keep the army here, therefore we must continue to do this and that. So that is my view.
The argument could be put forth that while one set of people, including the Vice Chancellor, insists that this is just a factional issue between students, you are adding some symbolicity.
Not symbolic. There is evidence with regard to the connection between the army and this. You see, on the face of it, on the surface, what they say is true. But we have gone into further into it, because as the provincial council, we have to be interested in other matters. And I have found that there are these people who, the army comes and gives food to these people. So I got down some professors and got this information. Yes, it is true, they used to come here, then we objected to it, then they come and put it at some place, and then these boys go and take the food. So my question is, why should the army provide food for these people? So when you have such connections, we have to look at it a little more carefully. That is what I am trying to say.
To the counter, Chief Minister, there is within the southern polity, there is this notion that within the university system itself, that ethno-nationalist Tamil sentiments are being sprouted by the faculty, by the administration, and
right.
And this is a reaction, or this is a result of that kind of.
Okay, what I would like to tell you is, what's wrong in our telling about what we are? We are Tamils, we have ethnocentric attitude towards our community, like how you as a Muslim have your own understanding about your Muslim community. We have a right to talk about our culture, our way of behavior, our aspirations. So if you say anything of that borders on violence, yes, bring it to my notice, I will take steps. But what is wrong in our talking about various things pertaining to our background?
But doesn't that contradict in itself? Because we are on the south, they're trying to stop majoritarianism is an issue in the south. That majoritarianism, if that is
right, I'll answer that question. You see, there is no question of the south. We are not asking south not to talk about what they want to talk about. We are only talking about ourselves. One, two. The question of bringing about reconciliation is not on that basis. Reconciliation has to be the recognition of each person's individuality. If I don't recognize you as a Muslim because of what you are as a Muslim, then we are going to have problems. If you don't recognize me as a Hindu for what I am as a Hindu, then we are going to have problems. So similarly, the reconciliation, if you are trying to say, don't talk about yourselves, don't talk about Muslims, don't talk about Hindus, then you are only wanting us to talk only about the majority community and the majority way of life. This won't do. Recognition of the individuals of constituting the various communities by all, especially the majority community must recognize that. Then only we can move forward. We have to be equals in this business. You can't be having an hegemonic attitude on the part of the majority community to look down upon us as minorities. We are majorities in the northern and eastern provinces from 2000 years here. So we are majorities. We were brought together in 1833 by the British. Otherwise we still would have continued to be separate. So that's the point.
But again, Minister, if the majoritarianism, that attitude of majoritarianism is fueled within the upper echelons of the university system, what it's the resultant of it is that it could lead to violence, which we saw for 30 years, which we saw before that, which we have seen in the south. How do you think this should be addressed?
Yes.
If you are going for tit for tat.
No, this is not a question of tit for tat. My point is, recognize the other person as an equal of yours. We are not recognizing each other as equals. We are recognizing ourselves as those who belong to the majority community and those who belong to the minority community. If you say minority community, there is something wrong with you. You're somebody below you. This won't do. Just because a person is, you see, I remember in the 1948 up to about 56, most of the people who got number of prizes and various things at Royal College used to be Tamils. So, we were better than, what I'm trying to say is we were better than everybody else. So you can't be sort of looking down upon us just because your numbers are more and our numbers are less. We are equals. I don't claim to be bigger than the Sinhalese or bigger than the Muslim, but I'm equal to you. So let the Sinhalese also look upon us as equals. If you look at each other equal, no, there need not be any problem. And in fact, the relationship between the Sinhalese and the Tamil students in the university so far has been very good. Despite the fact nearly 60% sometimes are Sinhalese in this, but they pulled along very well. Even in this instance, if they had originally what they had agreed upon to have the Kandyan dancing as a program on the stage rather than to become part of the ushering in process, this wouldn't have led to any problem. So it is the hegemonic attitude, the dominant attitude on the part of certain people because of the fact of their being of a majority community, because of the fact of the army being there at the background in order to give them various support. These things are happening. That is how I am looking at it.
But if this happened in the county, if you went to Ruhuna or Rajarata and the Tamil students were assaulted the way the Sinhalese students were assaulted, what would have been your stance then? What would you have?
We would have tried to find out what exactly has been the reason. Most probably the reason there would have been the same thing. The majority community there would have been looked down upon the minority and done something. That is how it normally happens.
But you agree that that's what happened here?
Here it's a different. It's the majority community in an area where there are minorities. Because of the army behind them, they have been up to various wrongs. That's how it seems to be to me. But then I'm subject to full inquiry into this whole thing.
Right now, you are actually, before we move into that, you are now actually considered the number one enemy of the Sinhala Buddhist nationalist.
Well, I don't think that should be done. Maybe you people are also part of it. Your papers and all the newspapers must be considering to do that sort of thing. I am still the same old person. I have not changed one little bit. My children are married to Sinhalese. We still have a very good relationship. So, and also I reflect what my people say. I reflect the aspirations and the thought processes of our people. To think that I have suddenly become anti-Sinhalese or anti-Buddhist is all nonsense. In 1965, the only living person who took the Mahanayaka Thero to Nainadivu is myself. There were 40 people who started the Congress of Religions. I think all 39 are dead. I am still the only person who is alive. So I have no problems with the Buddhists and nor against the Sinhalese. I have been born and bred among the Sinhalese. But then you Sinhalese people must realize that you are not recognizing us properly. And I am trying to teach you, or I am trying to tell you, I am trying to bring it to your notice, this is not the way to treat us. You can't treat us just as minorities means some former President Vijayatunga said, minority should be like tapestries around the tree. Now, that type of thing was mentioned. That is not the way to look at it. You must look upon us as parallel trees. We are also trees. We have our own aspirations. We have our religions. We have our culture. We have our background. So, if you recognize that, this won't happen. So, if the Sinhala masses in the south, thanks to all your newspapers and the websites, if they are thinking of me in that fashion, my response to that is, I am not that. I am not at all against the Sinhalese, no, but I am certainly against the ignorance on the part of the Sinhalese in not acting properly in this matter. We have got to look at these problems humanely. We have to look at these problems as equals. We can't be looking at it from the point of view of a dominating attitude on the part of certain people. That's all. So your domination, if I point out, you feel annoyed with me and you call me number one against. Well, that's left to you.
Upon your assumption of duty, Northern Provincial Council, we have seen various political, for example, the resolution that you passed, that has been seen as antagonizing towards the majority community.
Right.
And,
yeah, I'll answer that.
Yes.
You see, passing of a resolution with regard to genocide, must be looked at from the point of view of whether it is right or wrong, whether it is correct or not. If you can point out one incident that I have mentioned in that which is not true, which has not taken place, you are entitled to find fault with me. But if that is the truth, what's wrong in my telling the truth? I am telling every little bit that is being brought out is the truth. So far, many of our people have not been prepared to come out with the truth. They are scared. They are scared because of the fact they have been kept under control by the army and various people. I am not scared because I was born and bred in Colombo. I treat everybody equally. Every Muslim is my equal, every Sinhalese is my equal, every foreigner is my equal. I don't consider myself any bigger than the other person, nor lower than the other person. So therefore, my attitude towards this whole thing is from the point of view of equal. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I don't think there is anything wrong that I have done.
But how did C.V. Vigneswaran, now Royal College educated, Colombo educated, Sri Lanka Law College educated, government service,
yes,
who's been in the government service, has gone to the highest. How did C.V. Vigneswaran, if you can define what these issues that you were being considered at that point, you were considered as a symbol of where there was nothing. You know, we have a person at Tamil has gone as far as this. How do you reconcile your political views now with regard to your personal, your journey as a person?
Yeah, you see, I was conscious of the fact that the Tamils were being treated wrongly even as a Supreme Court judge. I was the first to make, and I suppose the only person up to date, to make a speech in all three languages. And at that time also I mentioned the fact that the Tamils were not being treated correctly and treated equally. I'm still continuing the same thing. The fact is, I am trying to bring out the truth, which is the real underlying truth in the behavioral pattern of our people. Now when I bring that out, in a case when I bring it out, nobody is worried, they say, oh, very good judgment. When I bring it out in the social atmosphere, in the social arena, they feel, oh, how can that be? You can't say such things against us. What do you mean not? You can't say. If that is the truth, what's wrong in our telling that? Genocide is something which I have pointed out is what has taken place. Every time you will see whatever I say is based on truth, is based on facts. If you say it is not based on facts, if I have made an error, my God, I am immediately prepared to say sorry and then look into it and then correct myself. Otherwise, I don't feel wrong in what I am doing. There is no contradiction between my work as a judge, as a Royal College old boy, or in any other way, than what I am doing there. The only thing that is preventing me from that, I did not express it in so many words at the time when I was there, because I had no occasion. Now I have taken upon the brief. Like a lawyer, I have taken the brief of my people of the Northern Province. I am putting forward the case of my people. That's all I am doing.
But let me ask you this, Minister. Your personal journey again. that you did not face the discrimination that you now today speak of, that you in the end ended up at the highest.
Right. You are saying I did not face discrimination. Well,
For the reason that you were a Tamil.
no. You see, you must look at it in a different way. The fact that I did not, that it is not known where the discriminations came in and how I went through it, is I don't wish to talk about all that. But let us put it the other way around. My student is the Chief Justice today, Mr. Sri Pawan. He is the only Tamil in the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal. Isn't there discrimination in the way of, there are Muslims there, but no other Tamil. So, but isn't there discrimination against the Tamils?
But he is the Chief Justice of the country.
So that's all. One person, what can he do? What can he do when everybody else are going to be? You see, what is happening is this is JR's famous way of doing. He used to get Kadir Gamar in charge of the army, or Sharvananda in charge of this thing. They will put all these Tamils in various places and say, no, we are not discriminating. They are just put in there. You can't do very much. They can do nothing. The power is in the hands of the others. So, this whole question of discrimination has to be looked at in an overall situation. I am telling you there is discrimination by telling in the Supreme Court, apart from the Chief Justice, no other Tamil. Apart from and nobody else in the Court of Appeal. So there is discrimination. Even if you go on a quota basis, at least the Muslims are there, but no Tamils are there.
That you have been the party, or the Tamil National Alliance, recently now you formed this group of civils. I don't remember. I can't recall the name.
TPC.
But the TNA itself has raised concern. There was a big issue within the TNA itself whether this our chief minister is going, our nominee is going against us, and how does that come?
Yeah.
Where does this come?
Yeah, you see, one of the important things that must be remembered by us is that when we are in Colombo, we are living with the majority community. To a great extent, the majority community condition our way of thinking and talking. You don't want to hurt anybody, so you listen to some people and you just go away. So you express also your views, not quite in terms of what you want to say, but couched in more dignified language probably. This is all because the environment conditions us. So when we are speaking from Colombo, it's a different way. Now I was born and bred in Colombo. I don't think anybody else in the TNA has been born and bred in Colombo like me. They have been for a longer period of time in their places of birth. But I have been right throughout in my place of birth, which is in the south. Now, having been that, when I came here, I realized the aspirations of the people. That's why I tell all these members of parliament and others, for heaven's sake, come and stay in the northern province. Stay with the people, talk to them, and then go to the parliament and talk. Then there are so many things to talk. You go and stay in Colombo and talk various things. You live in a different environment altogether, and you want to talk about the Tamil people here. No, I am talking by you staying here. I have given my house to be looked after by security officers and various things, and so much of money is being spent because I want to be staying here and look after the interests of my people. So therefore, there is a difference when you come here and when you are expressing the views and aspirations and wants and needs of our people, especially after the war. I mean, I was not part of the war, I was a Colombo man. But when I come here, I understand the real significance of what is taking place everywhere. How they have been decimated, discriminated, and unable to go forward in so many ways. So you must understand. So there is going to be a little bit of friction in these matters. But in between that, the fact that TPC has come up has created a lot of doubts with regard to me. I agree. But I have been able to now get rid of all the doubts. The TPC was not my creation. TPC is really Tamil people's, whatever you call it, they are people who are, people of some standing in the Tamil community, the civil society, who joined together, organized themselves, called me to start it off. I went and started it off. I am not responsible for creating a new party. But some people in our party thought, well, he has now started a new party for himself. I am not interested in starting parties. I have not been interested. For 6 months I kept away trying to get into this politics. It took 6 months for them to push me into this. I am still in the same position. I don't want this thing. It doesn't make any difference to me. Because I don't want money, I don't want status, I don't want name, everything I have already got it. So there is nothing that I want. So here I am doing the work of an advocate as far as his clients are concerned. My clients are the people of the northern province. I reflect their feelings. I reflect the feelings, aspirations of our people correctly and directly. So some people may have the difficulties in accepting it, so there can be friction. But I am not in any way in any problems with the Tamil leadership. No. There are differences with regard to the nuances, with regard to how we look at a problem. That could be there. That could be there in any way.
And you bring a very, very important, interesting point, Minister. The fact that you're a Colombo man and the fact that the MPs also are staying in Colombo. The elite of this country, if you look at it from the time of if you take Navalan on that side or Dharamapala on this side, towards Senanayaka to Bandaranaika to Chirmanayaka, all were Colombo educated, Royal College, St. Thomas's College educated people who fought a political battle at the expense of the people, at the expense and the bloodshed of the rank and file who were not of that elite class. Today, you're here from that same background and telling this. How do you reconcile this?
How did SWR Bandaranaika, who was the elite, who went to Oxford, who came, but he was leading the people.
Exactly.
I am doing the same thing. I am leading my people, expressing what has to be. How did a man who said in 1926 there should be a federal constitution in this country bring about single only in 1956?
Exactly my point, Chief Minister, that these are the elite in a power struggle.
No, but there is a difference. There is a difference. SWR Bandaranaika wanted power. He made use of single only for his. Yes. I am not using any such thing for anything of mine. But what am I going to gain from here? What do you think I have to expect? There is nothing that I want.
But Minister, no, to get it more nuanced, my question is that this is the elite who have all these issues have come about, these political issues have come about from the elite in itself. If you look at SWR Bandaranaika on that side, if you talk about Anagar Damapara or Navalan, all these are all of a set of class. Yeah. And for their battle, it is the rank and file of the people.
No. I would
Today
not.
You're in that position.
No, I would not say that way. At all stages, it had been the same, because the elite may have done that for power struggle and various things. That's a different thing, because as between Sir John Kotalawala and SWR Bandaranaika, there was a power struggle. Sir John came here and said parity of status. As soon as he went back, he said single only. But this is, I am coming here from different background here. This is after studying my people. I am not doing this for my personal benefit. I have no elitist thing. Neither do I expect you to call me an elitist. I am just a simple man. I have come here, sat down here, waited with the people, meeting the people, finding out from them. So it is the expression of what I have found out from the people that is coming out. So it is the expression of the people. This is not an elitist expression. That is what I want to tell you.
How does this man, who was pushed into this, there was so much, I remember before the Northern Poetry College election when he's coming, there was so much of convincing to come into politics.
Yeah.
How do you today look back? Are you happy with your journey? Are you happy with the decision you took? And how do you balance your personal with your political life?
I had more than 6 months kept all these people who wanted to get me into politics at bay. At a meeting at which Mr. Manoj Ganeshan and Velane Venian, they wanted me to get into this at a public meeting. I told them, look, I am not geared for a political life. You see, you have seen a child falling into a well or into a tank, deep one. I don't know to swim. You are wanting me to jump into the well in order to save the child. I am capable of shouting from here, all you people please come, let us do. Because that type of thing I can do, talk and various things. But this is not something for me to do. They said, no, we will help you and all that, and they pushed me into the well. So it has been a struggle. It has been a struggle. So my understanding has been changing. In the sense, it was an unfortunate thing that I had to get into this politics. But as time went on, the amount of expectations that people had towards you, that took control of me. My God, these people seem to be having so much of expectation out of this man, whom I don't consider as a leader, nor do I consider as capable of doing all this work. So it is that expectation which made me look upon this as another brief that has been given to me, like an advocate. A brief given to me, I have to look after my clients. So now it has enveloped me that there is a responsibility, a duty cast upon me to do my work. I am not at all interested whether I am going to end up as leader of the Tamils or leader of the TNA or any such thing. It makes no difference to me. This is quite enough. Being a chief minister of a province is a great thing from a point of view of position. But I am not after any such positions. So the Sinhalese people probably have a wrong notion of me. But I have an inbuilt confidence in me that you bring in any amount of Sinhalese people, whether it is the die-hard Sinhalese, I will be able to convince them that the wrong is in their side and not on our side. Because they are looking upon the minorities wrongly. If you change your the spectacles and look upon us correctly, we will be only too good for you. We have done well. Look, I went to the National Hospital the other week. The Tamil doctors are doing marvelous job there. They are running around, and I don't see the same thing with regard to the others. They take it easy. So you see, we are by nature, we are good. We are very conscientious, hardworking. That's part of our lifestyle. So you could make the best use of the Tamils in order to make this country flourish. You don't want to do that. You are making us your enemies. You are looking upon us as enemies. So that's why I am trying to point out to you. When I point out the wrong way of thinking on the part of the politicians in the South, they get annoyed with me. My answer to that question, don't get annoyed with me, because what's the use of you getting annoyed with this old man? I'll be gone in another few years. But try to think yourself, are you doing the correct thing towards the minorities, towards the other community? Then this won't work out. It will be possible for us to bring about reconciliation.
This concept of a separate state, has it gone away from...
Concept of a separate state, maybe in the mind of a few people who are having their own reasons. I think the people, by and large, have got out of that. When I was elected with 133,000 votes, I think it's supposed to be a low record and various things. The platform on which I have been saying is with regard to the integrity of this country, unity of this country with regard to the people. So that has been always there, and people voted on that basis, and that is now the accepted thing. I can't go beyond that or behind that. So people are of that. But when we ask for federalism, you think it is separation. Federalism is in order to bring the country together. You allow that person to look after himself, you to look after yourself, we to look after ourselves, and then we still together we run the country. So federalism is not separation. That's how the politicians have made it out. But federalism is the ideal way to keep the country together. So that is what I'm going around telling, and people are now finding fault with me for saying so.
The future, where do you see the next 5 years with regard to the politics of this country? We have a new government in place.
You see, I'm glad that this government has entered into an agreement to continue to stay together for another 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is. Because the fact that this unity government or this coalition of two parties coming together is a very important part in our history. So that has to be kept going. It's difficult. because the UNPers have a different way of outlook, the SLPers may have different outlook. But then the fact that this country has to come out of all these wrong ways of thinking that has taken place must be placed before the people. How are we going to do that? This government was brought in because of you Muslims as well as we Tamils. We played a very important part in bringing this government. So we have now got to give the strength to these people to run it. But if they on their part think in terms of letting us down, not looking after our interests, not giving what is due to us, then alas, I mean, it will be unnecessarily, the country is going to be in difficulties. But if we can join together, some of the things which I would like to stress here are, there should not be a dominating hegemonic spirit on the part of the central government as far as the provinces are concerned. I don't know about the other 7 provinces because they don't have problem. The problems were because of the North and East that the 1987 Indo-Ceylon agreement came in. So get rid of this hegemonic spirit on the part of the central government, treat us as equal, discuss matters with us, let us work this out. It is possible that in the next 5 years we could have a complete change with regard to our political atmosphere and the way in which we are moving economically and otherwise. Because as you know, this is the last thing that I like to tell you. In the late 50s or early 60s, Lee Kuan Yew said, let me make Singapore as another Ceylon. That's what he said. Because Ceylon was in that position at that time. And today, where are we and where are they? All because you brought just this one law, the single only act, and with that the whole thing changed. Because the hegemony came in from there. Domination came in from there. Get rid of your domination. Treat us as equals. We can do wonders because we will help you, we will help the single community, we will help each other. And we can do very well. We have all the potential to do that. We have all the resources to do that. Except this stupidity that has got into our head. So get rid of the stupidity, we will be great.